The following episode of the Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout. Hello my fellow Disney fans, and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble, why not celebrate the magic of Disney? I'm Kenzie Retro, and today, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Let's just get this out of the way. We're looking at the Fox and the Hound 2 released direct to DVD in 2006. This is the continuation of a long trend in the mid-2000s of what if we took a heartbreaking masterpiece and gave it a direct-to-video sequel that nobody asked for? Because somewhere in the hall of Disney Toon Studios, someone looked at the original 1981 classic, a poetic, emotional story about friendship, prejudice, growing up, and the pain of drifting apart, and said, yes, but what if Todd and Copper joined a country music dog band? If you came here expecting the raw emotional devastation of the original, Todd being abandoned, Copper being trained to hunt his best friend, the gut punch we will always be friends forever scene, you might want to lower your expectations just a little bit. This sequel takes place in the middle of the original movie's timeline, during that brief blissful childhood period before everything got existentially tragic. So buckle in, because today we're exploring the tonal whiplash, the soundtrack choices, the questionable canon placement, and the strange comfort of a movie that somehow manages to be completely unnecessary, yet oddly charming in its own Saturday morning cartoon way. Is what I would be saying if I actually enjoyed this film, which I didn't. At any point during this entire experience, I did not enjoy this film at all, at any point. And that is throughout the entirety of this film's runtime, which clocks in at an abysmal 69 minutes, not nice, and that's not including the credits. Let's just get this one out of the way, pretend it doesn't exist. I want it neuralized from my memory so I never have to think about it again. Time to head back into the woods, this time with more fiddle solos, more dog talent scouts, and far fewer life lessons. So, here we go. It was the final film to use the opening Walt Disney Pictures Presents logo, with a fancy castle in the blue background. After 21 years. Big Mama, Dinky, Boomer, and Squeaks never appeared, nor were they ever mentioned by Todd, despite how they were around during Todd's youth in the first movie. And just before we get started with this film, here's a shot from the original film.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd. What's your name, kid? Mine's Copper. I'm a hound dog.
Now here's that same shot from the trailer for this film.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd. My name's Copper. I'm a hound dog.
That's how little this sequel cares about the original. And again, that's the trailer. Basic continuity. Use the original clip. You do not dub over the voice. Basic continuity, Disney, and you've already butchered it in the trailer. So we're not wasting any time with getting the spaghetti western music that feels completely unnecessary. We're in for a long 2006 Royal Rumble, which I would rather spend the next 62 minutes watching. Again, without the credits, because it's 69 minutes, including the credits, actually. Already the animation looks worse than the original. We're not off to a great start, are we?
No way. Look at the size of that thing.
Unnecessary Western music, cheap animation, cheap character designs, completely unnecessary sequel that nobody asked for. Anything else I'm missing?
I can smell its evil breath from here. No, that's me. I had socks for lunch.
Oh yes, there's the terrible writing. Jonah Bobo is Todd this time around, and Harrison Fan is Copper, last seen in the very underwhelming Tarzan 2. No supervising animators, and with how embarrassing this is, I'm not surprised. The cricket resembles Squeaks from the first film. Just throwing that out there.
Go!
You reveal the punchline before you were supposed to. Really? Since when did this become a Freeberg and Seltzer film where it is set up, punchline, beat, punchline? Thank you, Eddie, for that one. It is meant to be set up, beat, punchline, not set up, punchline, beat, punchline. You're not a Freeberg Seltzer film! And yet somehow you're on the same level. Do you understand how comedy works? Rich Burns and Roger Schulman. Daniel P. Mannix would be ashamed of what you have done to his characters. And Daniel P. Mannix, by the way, is the author of the original book that this is supposedly inspired by. I'll just get the music out of the way, and I will name and shame the writers of these songs and the performers as well. Marcus Hummon, Will Robinson, Gordon Kennedy, and Blair Masters are to blame for the songs. And Joel McNeely, why did you take this project for your next film score? Why? You deserve better than this. Joel composed bluegrass music, and the music was performed by bluegrass performers. Blah! One Flew South, Chip Davis, Josh Grayson, Reba McEntire, Trisha Yearwood, Little Big Town, and Lucas Grabeel. Lucas Grabeel! Ryan Everton from High School Musical! Seriously, why? You went from the cinematic drama of Buddy Baker, who composed the score for the original film, to this! Copper's stuck on the fence and lets a cricket get away. Fantastic. They find some trucks heading to the fair.
Whoa! So that's a pretty good pumpkin. That one's even bigger. And noisier.
That's because that pumpkin is a pig, idiot. Exhibition of the useless Canadian's IQ, number 1. Copper falls onto the road, only for Todd to jump in and save him, leading to Slade calling him for his hunting lesson. Rusty Taylor as Widow, and Jeff Bennett as Amos Slade, last seen in The Three Musketeers and our last episode, Brother Bear 2, respectively. Top right of your screens. I just want this over with. Chief, voiced by Rob Paulson, last seen in the insufferable Mulan 2, is meant to be practicing for a contest where they finished 4th last year, and they are celebrating that like they won something. You guys know that meme where the guy that's on the lowest step of the podium celebrates like he's won the championship, spraying a bottle of champagne over himself? Yeah, that's what this is! This is that meme before the meme became a thing!
That must be going deep. I said howl!
Slade is not Isaac Newton, and he never will be, thanks to that apple falling on his head. Even here, practicing for the contest, Copper is showing the IQ of the useless Canadian. Useless Canadian IQ exhibition, number 2. Case in point, putting his best friend in danger at the hands of Slade and Chief. That's not what best friends do! The chase ends up in the barn where Widow Tweed is milking Abigail. Let me guess, Todd or Chief is going to knock the pail over. Oh, predictable plot. Add that to the list of the reasons why this film is utter garbage. You're not exactly helping your scores here. Todd and Chief, bizarrely, decide to watch Slade being stung by bees. Why? Do not just sit there! Do something! Slade gets thrown into a pigsty and gets pie thrown in the face. What a tragic waste of a pie. Why didn't Widow Tweed just move elsewhere? Then we wouldn't have all these problems. Oh wait, because then we wouldn't have a film. 54 minutes to go. Why does it feel like 74? Slade heads to the fair without Copper, who's tied to his barrel. Todd gets the collar off Copper, and they head to the fair together, finding the Singing Strays. The Singing Strays were named after popular country singers Johnny Cash, the Dixie Chicks, Floyd Tillman, Waylon Jennings, and Rose Maddox. Reba McEntire is Dixie, Vicki Lawrence is Granny Rose, and Unfortunately, Disney legend Jim Cummings as Waylon and Floyd. Jim, you deserve better than this. You absolutely deserve better than this. You should have just turned this project down. And then there's Cash, whose voice actor also deserves better. The late Patrick Swayze, who's best known for Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Point Break with Keanu Reeves, and Peter Griffin's favorite film, Roadhouse. And no, I am not using either gag because this doesn't deserve it. So Peter Drury, he gets some rest from the Guess Who gag for Disney legend Jim Cummings, as do the airbenders from Avatar foaming at the mouths overhearing it. Patrick Wood sadly passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2009, and this was his only voice role. Oh, you deserved so much better, Patrick. You deserved so much better than this.
In a couple of days, we will be in front of that talent scout from the Grand Ole Opry.
And judging by the fact that the Grand Ole Opry is mentioned heavily by the characters, the film takes place in Tennessee. Grand Ole Opry is located in Nashville. This is worse than unnecessary drama, to the point where it should not exist.
Sorry, fellas. Oh, I can tell right now this is gonna be the worst show of all time. It's gonna be the worst. Okay, let's have fun out there.
And look at this inconsistent tone as well. You're losing more points by the frame, not by the second, not by the minute, not by the hour. Every single frame, 1/24th of a second. The series performer then Copper joins midway through. Jeff Foxworthy is Lyle, and I'm just going through this as quick as possible because I just want to get it over with. Todd is elated for Copper, much to Dixie's disgust when she overhears him. Do not disrespect Elvis Presley again. How is there still only 47 minutes to go? How? Feels like there's more time to go. Dixie confronts them, leaving her. No, I'm not using it. I'm not using it. I'm not using absolutely livid because she has no right to be absolutely livid. So, DBC Bridge Freezer, you also get a break today.
I think you'd better know that what you're saying isn't what I think you're saying.
Why do you always have to go?
Only because
but what
you
if I said
know
to
what
you
I'd say?
No. You know, this is just like the time when you jumped.
You better not bring that up.
Shut up!
No, you don't, Dwayne. No, you don't. This is a family show. I will not have expletives being flown around willy-nilly. So Dixie just decides to quit because reasons. Yay! The talent scouts arrives, voiced by Stephen Root, and converses with Olivia Farmer. Characters done, music's done, basically all the behind the scenes done, aside from one or two pieces. And that's it. Let's just get this film over with. Why is there still 44 minutes left? I feel like this is dragging on forever. Whereas the films that have a longer runtime that I actually enjoy, they fly in. This insufferable squabbling is just not funny, completely unnecessary, and worse than forced.
But I'm in charge of this band and ain't no one's indispensable.
You're in charge? Which one of us is in the driver's seat?
Now listen, you...
Now you got me riled.
Case in point! Right there! Copper wants Todd to be part of the band, so he has to show he can sing to Cash. 3 guesses how it goes. Of course it doesn't go well. But at least he gets to be part of the entourage where they have to do all the chores. Yay!
Oh, by the way, you can't quit. You're fired.
Oh, what? You can't fire me. I already quit. Cash, you get back. Now you've got me riled.
The first time wasn't funny. What makes you think it will work the second time around? Also, there's a cat. Again, for some reason.
Huh. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Dixie, she's right there. You idiot. Shock and surprise to absolutely no one. Dixie puts a plan together to get back at Cash. This just screams absurd levels of pettiness. Sladen Chief somehow run into Widow Tweed. As if we didn't even need any more unnecessarily squabbling. Time to hit the road, but not before Dixie wants a word with Copper. She gives him some peanut butter, which is clearly a form of sabotage. James A. Janice also gets a break because I am not having him making a gag with saboteur. Because this does not deserve it. Thankfully, Todd helps Copper back to the strays, while Cash, yet again, chastises Dixie.
You are through.
Well, getting rid of me ain't gonna be so easy, Cash.
Not gonna be so easy, you say. That plank of wood says otherwise. Cash stops Copper from being with Todd for the fireworks as Copper ends up spending time with Cash instead. Now there's unnecessary tension between Todd and Copper, all because he's with Cash. Why? Someone else that deserves better than this film is Cat Susie as Zelda the cat. The level of disrespect to call her the same name as one of the greatest video game franchises of all time that gave us A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, which had a trailer that featured Robbie, the late great Robin Williams, having his daughter, Zelda, named after the princess in this franchise, and Breath of the Wild. The level of disrespect is unacceptable!
Oh, darling. You look like something the cat dragged in. Oh, no offense.
You cannot keep using the same dirty dishwasher quality levels of what you class as comedy and expect us to laugh at it. Dixie then just has the audacity to rudely interrupt Zelda, and this is where we get the walk like an Egyptian dance, which wouldn't come out until 1986. We're led to believe that this film, that looks like it was set in the 30s, made this dance first. No, this is a pointless pop culture reference for the sake of a pop culture reference. Top then blurts out to Dixie that Copper isn't actually a stray, resulting in Dixie using this to her advantage. And to think she's supposed to be the antagonist. I refuse to take you seriously!
How'd you like to get your best friend back?
But how?
Just listen close to old Dixie here.
Copper will not be his best friend once the lie is exposed. Back with the strays, Copper goes to find Todd but is nowhere to be seen. Cash tells Copper about how he and Dixie met while Slade and Chief go looking for Copper. Widow Tweed is looking for Todd conveniently at the same time. And they actually help each other out? Wow. Next morning, Todd's with Dixie at his home for reasons. Todd then provokes Chief to start chasing him, and we're back to being at each other's throats. What happened to helping each other out literally last night? Oh, that's right. This trash doesn't even care about basic continuity. Everyone follows Chief and Todd to the fair, and honestly, what is the big deal with finishing fourth 2 years in a row? That's the first person off the podium. Why even bother celebrating it like a win? That means absolutely nothing! Also, why is Olivia still with the Talent Scouts? Are they related? We don't know. They never tell us. Why? Seriously, why? Chaos breaks out over the fair in the most pointless way possible, just to pad the runtime. Lies exposed, shows off, Talent Scout goes home, Copper's fired, and everyone quits in the most cliched way possible. The rain falls, and even the characters are aware of this. Doesn't make it any less cliche or predictable. Congratulations, Dixie. You ruined everything! More unnecessary tension between Copper and Todd as Copper heads home with Slade and Chief while Todd heads home with Widow Tweed. No sympathy for anyone. Todd ends up with a Scout's hat, and the grey hues don't help either because everything in the mid-2000s had to have that grey hue somewhere. Dixie, your apology to Copper means nothing because nobody wants to see you again! Ever! Todd and Copper then reconcile when they didn't need to because this is all Dixie's fault to begin with.
You're a real hunting dog, aren't you? And this here hat is his address. Yeah, that's it. Get a good whiff.
At no point did you allude to the address of the Scout during the film, other than right now, for the sake of, once again, plot convenience. Todd gets the band and claims Dixie's in trouble. Why didn't you just open the door, you useless Canadian IQ'd idiot? Useless Canadian IQ exhibition number 3. And there's your 3 strikes. You're out of here. Then everyone reconciles, especially Dixie and Cash, after being at each other's throats all film. No acknowledgement of that happening at all, of being at each other's throats at all, just glossing over it as if nothing even happened. Again, why? The Scout sees the Strays singing on top of his car. Todd and Copper chase crickets again. The Strays become stars, and the film is over. Let's just get to the scores pronto and never talk about this film again. The story, 1 point. The narrative is riddled with glaring plot holes and shameless conveniences that undermine any attempt at coherent storytelling. Characters abruptly switch allegiances and motivations with no explanation. One moment they're helping each other, the next they're back to squabbling, only to reconcile again without any real justification. The sudden appearance of vital information like the Scout's dress smacks us in the face repeatedly of lazy writing, serving only to push the plot forward in the most contrived way possible. The film leaves heavily on pointless pop culture references and cliche tropes, such as the obligatory rain drum during a dramatic moment, which only serves to highlight how little care was given to the narrative logic or continuity of this film. In the end, nothing feels earned, and the resolution glosses over previous conflicts as if they never even happened, leaving the viewer frustrated and unsatisfied. The characters also get 1 point. The characterization in this film is abysmal. The major plots, points, and emotional beats routinely ignored or brushed aside. Characters like Copper, Dixie, and Cash flip-flop between rivalry and camaraderie without any logical progression or explanation, leaving their relationships feeling hollow and unconvincing. Key moments, such as Dixie's apology or the supposed reconciliation between Dixie and Cash, are handled with zero acknowledgement of the preceding conflict, making it impossible to invest in their arcs. The lack of motivation and continuity means even significant revelations like the Scout's address are dropped in for convenience and never developed. Ultimately, the characters are as poorly constructed as the story, serving only to further muddle an already incoherent narrative. Visuals, 1.5. The visuals are shockingly lackluster, with character designs that look cheap and devoid of any meaningful detail. The animation is flat and uninspired, relying on bland, washed-out colors and the obligatory gray hue that plagued so many mid-2000s productions, both in movies and in video games. There's no texture or nuance to the characters. Their expressions and movements feel mechanical, as if the animators couldn't be bothered to inject any life or personality into them. The overall look is so generic and low effort that it's impossible to become immersed. Everything about the visuals screams cut corners and budget constraints, further undermining any attempt at storytelling or engagement. John Lasseter, why didn't you just cancel this one altogether and just pretend it didn't exist? Why didn't you cancel this one? Soundtrack, 2 points. Much like the visuals and storytelling, the soundtrack is painfully uninspired. The music choices are as unimaginative as the narrative, relying on generic tunes and tired motifs that do nothing to elevate the film or inject any creativity into key moments. There's a distinct absence of originality, with each track feeling recycled and forgettable, failing to leave any sort of lasting impression or emotional resonance. Ultimately, the soundtrack is yet another example of the film's overall lack of effort and ambition, serving only to reinforce how little care went into this production. And now, this is a gag you absolutely deserve because it is completely justified. The Legacy, once again, a big fat 0. Fox and the Hound 2, congratulations! You're a failure. The sequel's legacy is nothing short of disastrous, as reflected by its abysmal 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a figure that speaks volumes about its reception and impact. It utterly fails to live up to the enduring appeal and emotional resonance of the original, never once capturing the magic or significance that made its predecessor so beloved. Where the original left a lasting impression and is fondly remembered, this follow-up is destined to be forgotten, overshadowed by its own mediocrity and the collective disappointment of critics and audiences alike. So that gives us an overall score of 11%. It is now bottom of the board. It is worse than Hunchback 2. It is worse than Atlantis 2. So once again, Fox and the Hound 2, congratulations. You're a failure. This film is an unequivocal misfire on nearly every front, scoring a woeful 11% overall. From incoherent storytelling, riddled with plot holes and unearned resolutions, to emotionless character arcs, lackluster visuals, and a forgettable soundtrack, there's simply nothing redeeming to be found. The sequel's legacy is one of disappointment, wholly failing to live up to the original and earning its disastrous reputation. And this is why the direct-to-video sequels have a bad rep, because of films like this. In short, you're far better off pretending this film never existed, so save yourself the frustration and just forget it entirely. And if you're planning on watching something, do not choose this, because it is 62 minutes you are never getting back. And we're done. I never want to think about this film ever again. I need a moment. If you enjoyed me tearing this film apart, please hit the thumbs up so that my work was not in vain, please. And if you want to be part of the Kingdom of Isolation yourself, you can hit the subscribe button down at the bottom, click the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live on this channel. I also have a passes page where you can see uncut episodes of the Kingdom of Isolation, including the movie soundtracks returning for 2026. The next episode... Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness it's one of the better ones next. Thank goodness. It's
Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time.
Something far superior to this absolute abomination. But until then, make each moment count, and I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation.